We are live and ready to go. This is the Four Battle Boy Podcast. I'm your host, moderator Fabian Vicks, and on tonight's episode, we're going to go through Week 3 in college football, recap games, and preview the upcoming weekend, which is going to be a lit weekend. Also, we are going to be talking about Week 2 in the NFL. What coaches on the hot seat? Is this the Dallas Cowboys year? And of course, this is the part of the show I say, let's go.
Hey, yeah. Hey. Boys, yeah. Hold on, we them boys. We them boys.
And of course, this is the Four Battle Boys Podcast. We are live and ready to do this thing tonight. My guys will be with me in just a moment. And while my guys are getting on here, I want to start and talk about this Stephen A. Smith versus Max Kellerman issue. This has been an ongoing issue for, I would say, 2 years. If you've been living under a rock, we'll bring in freedom. Hello, Michael.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Come on, we want a party pack. I'm not putting that toupee on yet, Peter. So I'm not sure what you want me to do. You could get a hair transplant. Oh, yeah, like one of those guys.
I was just talking about that Stephen A. Smith Max Kellerman thing popping up again.
Come back to us. You're right.
What y'all was talking about? Tony talking about made him cry. I'm gonna cry or something.
Oh, that was Mad Dog was on the show today. He must see TV where he's on Wednesday.
You put up with me when I was barefoot again.
He said on Saturday when he get ready to watch the game, he gonna get home, fix a cocktail, cut a gummy in half, eat the first half of the gummy. Then at 3:25 he go call his bookie, and then eat the other half of the gummy. They bet 10 dimes on Colorado.
Well, that dude tripping.
Yeah, he's wild. But I want to talk before everybody get on. We got to talk about that doggone Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman right quick.
Stephen A. Smith got what?
He's still keeping Max Kellerman name in his mouth.
So I just need to go back and watch because you used to put something up there about Jamel Hill.
You know, that was about the doggy. That was about Mad Dog video today on First Take. That's what that was.
Oh, okay. So I didn't need to go look at the video.
I was crying. For like 30 minutes. I was crying laughing for 30 minutes. I was reminded back and forth watching that joke.
What are you talking about Max Kellerman for?
Stephen A. Well, he was on the Joe Budden podcast. You know, it seemed like the story changes every 2 minutes with Stephen A. about Max Kellerman. He talked about on a couple on Breakfast Club, then in his book. Then he went on Joe Budden, so I just come with him, man. Work with him, man, no more. I basically told him, if you can't do what you need to do, I'll find somebody that will.
I think I did see something about that because him and T.O. still beefing. I saw something on Twitter the other day. Them niggas still got word.
And what I agree with Marcella Wiley, Stephen A. Smith, he was saying Max wasn't an athlete or a journalist. Why should we listen to him? When he don't realize Max had his own radio show while he was still in high school called Max on Boxing. He got that joke out of dirt. Majored in history at Columbia. Then he started around the horn. Stephen A. Smith ain't never started anything. He got put on. Max put stuff in the dirt, got stuff out of the dirt and built it. Stephen A., of course, he worked at a high school paper in New York, but then he got a break in Philadelphia. Max actually built his own thing 2 separate times.
Hey, but let me give you an analogy to that too. Sometimes just because you started don't mean that, you know, you always gonna be the big shot. Hey, Digital Underground founded Tupac, and we all know who became the biggest star from that. So just because you know you started something, did this and that, shit, Pac is the way bigger star than Digital Underground. That's just my example with that.
What I'm saying is, though, you discredited this man. So when he comes off this year hiatus, when he come back from contract, you trying to make him not hireable. Because you say folks in the industry saying, if you can't work Stephen A. Smith, we don't want to work with you. That's what folks are saying.
That's what who's saying.
Yeah.
I know I'm caught. I'm not. I mean, I know I'm catching the tail end of the conversation, but that's what who's saying.
There was a lot of folks saying in the industry, like, if you can't work, like, far as anybody's look at it, like Max, um, LeVar Ball, pretty much. When you look at it, because LeVar Ball was pseudo ESPN employee, but he was on that before he said that about Molly. Jalen Rose ain't working.
I mean, Jalen Rose got his own podcast thing. I don't really necessarily think he was trying to work, but I'm still. Well, I mean, why we talking about Max? I mean, what happened?
You know, Stephen A. went on Joe Budden podcast. But first of all, we got Michael Andre and Pretty Tony on with us, guys. On the show. This is before the show, but it's before the show. We brought to you by let me see, Sprite, the black folks. We don't have a graphic for that yet. But we'll get that in a second. We're just saying that he was on Joe Budden podcast. He was saying they were asking him again about what happened with him and Max. He was saying I couldn't work with him. I felt like I was doing the show by myself. And he was saying, telling him, if you can't do what I need you to do, just I'll find somebody that will. And I watched Marcella Wiley's podcast, Never Shut Up. It's on YouTube. It's a decent watch. Him and Matt's been friends for years. And he just telling him Stephen A. was afraid of Max's intelligence. Because Max majored in history. I mean, he's next level intelligent, whatever. That was about what Marcella said. And you could look at how they treated Max on the last 2 years of First Take versus his first 2 years on there. You can see how Stephen A. was coming at him inappropriately, how Kendrick Perkins would go at his ass every chance he get. Anybody. Only person that really stood up for Max on the show was T.O. 4 years ago when he said Max is more black than you, Stephen A. And, you know, him and T.O. and Stephen A. still got beat. I don't know. It's just a mess. If Stephen A. keep his mouth shut, none of it be a problem.
I mean, I mean, me and you kind of then, you know what I'm saying, talk, you know what I'm saying, on the side, you know, about that. You know, I definitely feel like, you know, Steve, he's just said his piece about it, and there's no need to continue to, you know, continuously talk about it and, you know what I'm saying, drag that man's name through the mud per se. But I mean, it's they keep asking him about it. So I mean, you know, that's the world and the environment we live in now. People want dirt, they want the gossip. You know what I'm saying? So people keep asking him about it. But I mean, I think Max will be all right, man. I think he'll work again. I don't think people are saying that, you know, if you can't work with Stephen A., you can't work with anybody. I mean, Stephen A. is a dominant personality. So, I mean, it's a lot of people that can't work with Stephen A. So,
Yeah,
I don't.
The thing about because me and you read Stephen A. book. Me and you read a book. Of course, he went on the Breakfast Club, read a book, and then he went on Joe Budden. He changed the story 3 different times about what happened with him and Max. The story changed 3 different times, man. If you listen to him tell it, it changed 3 different ways. So that further let me know, it's like, you know how like we tell a story like, hey man, I done told it, me and dude was shot diet. I won 50 times. Then he went to the home, but like, nah, dog, I lost 27 times. Then the next time, like, yeah, man, I made liquor at the casino. Yeah, I wrapped up. I got my Bugatti. That story changed 17 different times with him. I know I just said 5 different times, but it just don't seem, it seemed fishy. His story changed 3 different times. I have a pretty good memory. He told 3 different stories about what happened to him, Matt.
I mean, I can't tell you what you heard, but I mean, it's always pretty much been the same thing with me where he feel like he couldn't work with him. They ain't vibe. I mean, that's any relationship. That could happen in a work relationship. That could happen in a personal relationship. That could happen with your wife. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't vibe. So, you know, he is Mr. ESPN. So, I mean, you know, he got his way in the situation. You know what I'm saying? If it came to who was going to go, you know, we know who, I mean, we saw who was going to go. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knew who was going to go if it came down to that.
Man, Stephen A. ain't no different than no other big superstar in the world of sports getting their way when they want it. He ain't no different than a LeBron or Michael Jordan. Stephen A. is the star of that show, and he gonna tell you who he want on it and who he don't want on it. Same way they say LeBron is with coming to getting players to come there or leaving. That he's in that same boat.
And not just the star of that show, he's the star of that network.
Yeah.
He's the third biggest moneymaker, or the fourth biggest moneymaker on that network, behind Pat McAfee, Troy Aikman, and Joe Buck.
Yeah, Stephen A. is a star, man. He gonna get his way. That's what it is, being a star. So they get it popping about the college football.
And he got out the mud. He got out the mud too, Fade. Let's not do that. Stephen A. got out the mud too. He ain't had nothing hand in him.
Hey, y'all ain't figured it out, man. Fade has a vendetta against Stephen A.
I know he don't like Stephen A. I know.
Two things can be true. We're gonna let Damien get in right quick. Two things can be true.
I'm gonna say this.
Oh, go ahead, Damien.
Stephen A. Smith is the guy that run ESPN because First Take is the show that run ESPN. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really tunes in without watching First Take, and it's been like that for a few years. So him being the mouthpiece of that show, him being the guy that really, from my understanding, he executive produced the show and all that. Of course, he gonna have say so who go and who stay. That's gonna always be, as long as he running that show, as long as he bringing in the views and everything he bringing in, they gonna pretty much let him do what he want to do. That's how I feel about it. Mike Wright, he just like LeBron, he just like Jordan, he just like any other guy that was the head honcho. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit! Oh.
I walked into that one, Tom. I'm just saying, I don't see the beef between him and Max. I think is being outplayed though. I think they doing, because really Max ain't said nothing else about it.
No, because he's still getting paid by ESPN. He gonna keep him out close to that last check kid.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, I think it's getting. I seen what Marcellus Wiley said on YouTube, and he went slap off. He went off on Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not a Jason Whitlock fan. I can't stand that nigga. But you know, it's so much that people they slinging mud, and it's just who gonna have the last say so on who gonna throw the most dirt. That's what it is now to me.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy that, you know what I'm saying, but I mean, hell, we talking about it right now, but it's crazy that people still talking about it like that because, I mean, shit, Max been and gone,
2 years,
posted another damn show, and then left that show, and we still talking about it.
Right. I think Vet nailed it.
Hey, listen, we ain't still talking about it. Fabian's still talking about it. We talking about it because Fabian talking about it. We ain't thought the damn thing about Stephen A., Max Kellerman, or nothing. We just riding with our boy Fade. Bottom line. This is Fade's thing, so we riding with Fade.
I'll say this is relevant news because this literally just has happened over the last 72 hours, and we ain't scratched the surface with him and T.O. But that's something we can talk about next week or whenever you pop these Sunday show back up. That's something we need to talk about.
Yeah, because that's a whole
Tony, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you the question, Tony. If Fade never bring up something about Stephen A. Smith, will we even mention it?
Not really.
So we ride with Fade. This is Fade pet peeve. It's all about Fabian. Fabian A. Smith. That's what this shit's about.
Wow. So basically, you call me a bald-headed rich nigga.
No. Anything dealing with Stephen A. Smith, this is strictly cause I guess we don't. I don't. It ain't nobody on TV or athlete that I don't care for. But this is a sore subject for you, so we listen to you. It's kind of like your husband listen to your wife when they come home in the evening complaining about their job. We just listening, Faye. That's it.
Wow.
We just here, dog.
You don't listen.
We get right with you.
All I'm saying is
you don't listen to your wife, Mike. Got to go.
All I'm saying is with this.
Goddamn dog, Mike.
Just keep the dude name out your mouth. It's been 2 years. Let it go. That's all I'm saying. get to do that much about Baldy.
Stephen A ain't gonna never watch our show. Never.
I tagged him last week.
No. Hey, Mike, he watched everything. If you listen to his podcast, you know he watched other people's shows. If you listen to his podcast, this dude will go off on anybody that say something about him, and he don't hold his tongue back, bro. I done seen some of his podcasts, but
he ain't gonna watch us, Damon, man.
Don't worry, I'm telling
He ain't gonna watch us, Damon. He will.
Leave it alone.
We'll leave it alone. Okay.
Go and tag him, Fabian.
Already done. Say less.
Go and tag him.
Don't tag him, Faye.
Already did.
He tagged it.
Hold on, let me get to the chat right quick before we move on to college football.
Okay. What's going on, Tick?
Let's see. Anatole said nagging. Kevin Byram. We'll pop his comment on there right quick. F. Stephen A. Smith. T.O. is right about that dude. Clown ass.
N-word.
I'll say it, boy. Nickel. Yo, black ass nickel. Y'all bald head ass nickel. And Stephen A., if you happen to watch this show while I just tagged you, invite me on your show. We can have a conversation about who more black. At one point, black people saying Max was more black than Stephen A. And
boy,
their relationship have been the same since. That's been 4 years ago. And that's the moment when we knew Max Kellerman's show. Max Kellerman would not be on the show no more.
Yeah, T.O. started something with that one, but we digress.
But let's get to college football. Let's merge from a ball-headed dude to a ball-headed field. College football preview and reviews brought to you by Arizona Tea. How much, Damon?
$1.
$1. And what happens when you drink Arizona Tea?
You fall into a diabetic coma.
And what you need for that diabetic coma?
Sugar, insulin.
Ozempic. We're the same brought to you.
You think I can get some Arizona Tea, Damon, man?
No.
Think I can get some of that? No, I can't. Okay.
As you can see on the top part of the overlay, we're sponsored by Arizona Tea and Ozempic. You will be taking one shot, 0.5 milligram per week for the rest of your life if you drink Arizona Tea. All right.
You're dumb, man. I swear.
So guys, I put week 2 and week 3. I didn't catch that till just now. We're on week 3.
Oh man, put up what Tick said, man. Please put up what Tick said, man.
Hold on, let me get to that right quick.
Tick's still stupid, bro.
Yeah, he has no sense. Pastor Tick.
Oh my goodness. Man, Tick ought to be ashamed of himself.
Shit, we on week 4.
I know that's why I said on the overlay I messed up. I didn't catch that until just now.
Good job, Tick. I like that.
Oh my goodness, that dude is still crazy, man.
Corey Green, what the deal is? All right, let me take the overlay off because I gotta fix that. I didn't catch that. Moved it up to the top. I didn't catch that part. So,
hey, I want to let everybody know that Tick has taken 3 of the church pews out of the church and put it in his van. His van seats were messed up. Tick has a 15-passenger van that he picks up all the people in the church, and he ripped up 3 church pews this week and put them in the back. Y'all know the 3 church pews to be on the side where the old lady sit.
Not stand.
So he put them in his van with a ceiling fan. By the way, go ahead. He stole a ceiling fan and a TV and vanilla wafers from Vacation Bible School.
Tony,
you continue.
Your fellow Cowboy fan, please.
So
could you do something with him, please?
So mobile service.
Please do something with him, Tony. Please. You throw your hands up.
Hey, Damon, real talk now. Last week before you got on, me, Tony, and Fave had an interesting conversation about Colorado and their level of. I was saying Colorado was must-see TV now, college football, like Fab Five was in basketball. Tony feels like, and I mean, it wasn't no right or wrong. Tony feels like UNLV 90 was just as popular and must-watch as Michigan was. Now, my comeback to that was UNLV 90 was big to people that was in the college basketball world. I felt like Fab Five was a worldwide team. Like women that don't normally watch basketball, they knew about the Fab Five. Just like now, people are staying up to 1, 2 o'clock in the damn morning to watch Dion. So I feel like Dion in Colorado right now are the equivalent of the Fab Five. I felt like UNLV was a must-watch team, but I don't feel like UNLV was a team like the Fab Five. Your thoughts on that? Your thoughts on the comparison with Colorado and the Fab Five?
I think that's accurate. I think Tony is right too, though, because think about it like this: UNLV 90 had a squad that they actually thought was virtually invincible. Everybody was getting blown out, 30 points. They was beating people to death. They had a junior college transfer and Larry Johnson and Stacey Augman, Hunt, Ackles, Greg Anthony. They had that was people really wanted to see what they was gonna do, and a lot of people paid attention to Jerry Tarkanian. I get what you're saying though, because right now Deion done put Colorado on the map big time. They say he blew the viewership off the waters. That Colorado State game. What was it? 9.6 million.
9.3 million.
9.3. That they
good gracious of life.
9.3 million people, bro. So he has become much watched. Now, if he mess around and beat Oregon with that high power offense, then we really gonna be talking about. I'm telling you, it's gonna be Deion for real, Coach Prime for real, bro. Because then he gonna be 4-0, and he gonna have a legitimate win. Because this is home Bo Nix. This ain't road. They going to Oregon. So if he go to Oregon and beat them, you talking about must see TV? Huh.
Yep.
I think both of our comparisons is right though.
They're not beating Oregon. They don't have their offensive defensive lines are weak.
I mean,
they shouldn't beat Oregon. Let me rephrase that. They shouldn't. We got Horatio Major who just popped in there going on shot.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Mr. Major, what's happening, bro?
What was the first topic this week about college football, Fate? Oh, I forgot.
Can Deion keep this up? That was the question. Shot. Can Deion keep this up?
I don't think so. I mean, it's getting hard to bet on Deion, but it's funny you say that because I was just talking to a former NFL player about 20 minutes ago, and we were talking about Deion, and he said, no hating. He just said, Deion is a salesman. He says he don't think it's gonna last because he think Deion is a salesman, but at the end of the day. He said one of the things that Tony even said, and I even mentioned your name, Tony. He was like, they lost 14 starters. Like TCU wasn't even supposed to be ranked. You know what I'm saying? Nebraska was horrible, and he just went to double overtime against Colorado State. Like, who is Colorado State? Again, this is somebody else's opinion. It's not mine. But I think the winning streak comes to an end against Oregon, but he still surpassed expectations thus far. It's gonna be must see TV, and all the college football should be rooting for Oregon, because if not, Colorado gonna be a problem for a while.
And God forbid he beat Oregon and USC. He beat Oregon and USC. Everybody in the country need to be aware of Deion Sanders. Now I don't think that's gonna happen, but as far as recruiting, transfer report and all that, people in trouble, boy.
Well, recruiting, he already got it. He done already got it. The Belleville quarterback here, the number one recruit, right? So he was up at the Colorado State game. So he making his moves as far as recruiting.
Yeah, but
just because you at the game, that don't mean I'm recruit you. I mean, that's gonna help, but that don't mean nothing.
Salesman. He's a salesman. He'd probably be able to sell Colorado to some of these recruits that you never thought would go to Colorado.
Yeah, Deion is changing the game, and what I mean by that, he's changing the coaching game. He's taking a profession which is supposed to be some mild-mannered, middle-aged, Caucasian, men, and he's making it where everybody got to step their game up. From Nick Saban to Kirby Smart to Cristobal, y'all got to start getting on Instagram. you got to start promoting your brand. The school can't just do it for you no more. So don't be surprised if in another couple of weeks y'all start seeing Kirby and Nick and all them dudes stepping out the box and being something that they not used to being. Because Dion is the ultimate salesman. Whoever on here got Instagram, or I don't know if he's on Facebook, but if you got Instagram, Deion Sanders has been on your Instagram page all week long. The last 2-3 weeks, has he not?
That's the truth. You're right. That's the truth. He didn't have everybody on there. The Rock. He didn't have everybody on there, bro.
My Instagram page has been flooded with Deion, Shiloh, and Shador Sanders.
That's true. That's true.
Tony, get in right quick. You had your hand up for something.
My mic on?
Yeah.
Your mic on. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to make sure I just wanted to make sure I was on the record and I was clear. They're not going to beat Oregon or USC. So no, that's I get the whole don't let it happen because this it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's the same thing we said about that same thing about TCU. And I'm not comparing.
I don't think everybody was as emphatic about that, about the TCU. I'm very emphatic about this. They will not beat Oregon or USC, dude. It's not going to happen.
Those are two high power offenses, and like you getting Bo Nix at the crib, it's a different ball game.
And they don't have arguably their best player.
Oh right, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, and I agree with y'all. Y'all 100% correct. The problem with this is because are we talking about Colorado, or are we talking about the Deion effect?
I thought we were talking about Colorado. Like I get Deion. Come on, dude. You know what I'm saying? He wore that. That boy got us a ring. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't got no problem with Deion. I like prime time. That's my boy. And I'm from Atlanta. I know what he did for the city. I know how he had this city, you know what I'm saying, crump, dude. Back when the Falcons won nothing.
Right.
So I don't have any issue with Deion the man. I'm strictly just talking about football, bro. Colorado was not ready for or USC at all.
Right. But I'm talking about a combination of both, Tony. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I agree with you. I think Oregon might beat them boys by 20. You will never see a losing coach get more interviews than you will next week.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
That's true.
For sure.
Like the losing coach about to get more interviews than Dan Lanning. What? That's gonna be crazy.
And a lot of it got to do with. I mean, it is sad to say, but I mean, we talk about this quite a bit, especially you shot. You know what I'm saying? But though, I mean, he hot right now, so people actually are starting to root for him to fail. Unfortunately, that's just that's just how it goes.
Right.
And some of that will be self-inflicted because of when you walk the walk like Deion been doing all that woofing.
Right.
I mean, you kind of, you know what I'm saying, you kind of set yourself up for that when it does happen.
Right.
And them boys be talking cash money shit on the field before the game. Shador Sandler be flashing off his watch. Travis Hunter be talking cash money before the game, bro. I'm talking about cash money.
This dude poked somebody in the damn eye on camera. I can't believe it. I ain't heard nothing else about it. Other than saw a little clip on Instagram, like Shop talking about on Monday. I ain't heard nothing else about it.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that?
I didn't see that. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Dude, this dude was woofing with a damn Colorado State player, and he took his fingers and poked him right in the damn eye through his helmet, dude.
Yeah,
just like the Three Stooges. That's how he looked.
You saw Edwater?
Yeah, I saw it live though. He did it during the game.
Yeah, he do it. I know he did it during the game. I know it.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, I missed that too. I ain't know nothing about that.
I'm gonna tell y'all, I think the most intriguing game of the weekend that's kind of flying under the radar when you got Ohio State, Notre Dame. The game we need to watch out for, man, that when I say intriguing, and it's intriguing to till it. I'm trying to figure out the word. It's intriguing just simply because it's them. It's that Ole Miss Alabama game. That's going to be an intriguing football game because can y'all picture after 4 weeks Alabama could potentially be 2-2 and you out the playoff race? This might be the biggest game of the weekend in a sense when it, talking about the SEC or affecting the playoff race. The Alabama game, and not to mention, man, let me just run that off all these games this weekend. This is one of them sad that you don't go nowhere. You got Florida State, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. You got 3 games in the Pac-12 with all the teams undefeated. Colorado against Oregon, UCLA and Utah, Oregon State, Washington State. Auburn played Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama. Oh, did I say Ohio State, Notre Dame? Yeah. Iowa and Penn State. Man, this is a crazy weekend, man. This is crazy.
I'm interested in 2 games. I'm interested in the Notre Dame Ohio State game. That Ole Miss Alabama does intrigue me, but I'm also interested in the Penn State Iowa game because I want to see if this is a true defense that Allard is going to come across. I want to see if he's actually ready. If he mess around and throw a couple picks and they get in his mind, they may lose that game. I'm interested in the Notre Dame Ohio State game because I want to see did the moves that Ryan Day made on that defensive line, are they going to be physical with Notre Dame, or is Notre Dame going to bully these boys? I'm interested in all that because I want to see what Ryan Day do. I want to see if he made the changes. Now, I don't think Notre Dame has anybody to start Marvin Harrison. I really don't. But if they bully them boys around, I don't think Kyle Core going to have time to get the peel off. So it is going to be a heck of a Saturday. But those 2 games I'm interested in because I want to see what Franklin do. I want to see if Penn State can deal with a defense, and I want to see if Notre Dame and what is going to do for Ohio State. Did they make the right moves?
I'm going to give y'all a sneaky game. Watch for the Miami game at Temple. Not saying Temple going to win, but a sneaky football game or trap game, as they call it, Miami at Temple. Watch for it. I don't think Temple going to really. Okay. Miami, a lot of times, man, when they go up north, and it ain't cold or nothing right now, but a lot of times when they go play teams that they supposed to blow out, or they go play teams up north, like the Miami game, I think Miami got a game at the end of the year where they play, I think, at Boston College, like around Thanksgiving. You know it's going to be super cold during that game. So watch out for little games like that, man.
All right.
Okay.
Go
ahead,
Shaq. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just don't think that this, and I'm not even talking about Miami. I just don't think this Alabama Ole Miss game gonna be. And I understand what I think D-Ran was saying as far as the ramifications, but I mean, truth be told, Alabama just ain't got it right now because the same thing we talked about in the beginning, the most important position on the field, they don't have. They don't have a quarterback, and I said that earlier because they were trying to get Tyler Van Dyke. So Nick Saban already knew he didn't have that the quarterback situation wasn't in good hands. Now he's gonna have to coach a lot this year, and they probably, he's actually conceded that they're not championship caliber this year. I expect Ole Miss. If Ole Miss can't beat Alabama Saturday, then Lane Kiffin ain't that guy. In the story, because you're not going to find Alabama as vulnerable this season as they've been in 15 years.
I just can't see them boys going 2-2 like that, man. That's unheard of, that boy. That's really it is.
Yeah, somebody.
I don't think Alabama done fell off that bad. But Fave did call it. Fave said it before the season started, they would lose 3 games. He said it. And they played all them quarterbacks last week and didn't play Miro at all.
That Texas A&M Auburn game is interesting to me too, because I want to see. I mean, what's gonna go down with Jimbo? Because if he lose to Auburn, they might. I don't know. It might be. That's gonna be something else.
Since we're talking about conferences, Anatole broached this question. Let me get a quick yes or no from you guys. Is the Pac-12 the best conference right now?
No.
Anatole, hell no. Pac-12 have to play all their non-conference games before they start conference games, and tell me a Pac-12 team that's gonna play somebody worthy these first 3 weeks. I can't think of none. Maybe they have. I can't think of none. So no, they just
Mr.
got the
What was the question?
luxuries of having a pretty good non-conference schedule.
They got three of the best quarterbacks.
I didn't see it. What was the question?
Is the Pac-12 the best conference right now?
Oh hell no. Okay, I'm good. I can't. Producer.
Pac-12 just got all them undefeated teams, but they're not the best conference. Who has anybody in their Pac-12 and Big Ten does it too? They play their non-conference game before they start. They ain't played nobody. The closest game, the toughest game I can think of from the Pac-12 right off, I think Auburn went out there and beat Cal, and I think Arizona State. Oh yeah, Utah. Now that was, I don't know how impressive that win was just yet.
That was without their starting quarterback. That's without Utah starting quarterback.
They got three really good quarterbacks. I can't say that makes them the best conference. I can't say that. Now they can put up some points, but like Mike said, who have they really played at this point? I agree with that.
Going back to the chat, Bet said the ACC is the best conference. Is
that
viable?
Or it?
ACC, the ACC.
Bet you had to explain that one. I don't know how you figure that one.
You got what?
Out of the ACC right now, you got one team that is probably a championship team.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it's still going to go back to the SEC or the Big Ten. The Big Ten got probably 3 teams that can make it to the playoff. And hell, the SEC, it's probably 2 or 3 deep too.
Yeah,
you just don't know what 2 or 3 deep, because the SEC right now probably the SEC is having a down year because there ain't a lot of stars at the quarterback position. That's the problem with the SEC. But make no mistake about it. Right now, everybody on this panel, I'm gonna ask this question, and Vet can chime in, whoever can chime in. To win the national championship, you taking the SEC or the field?
I'm taking SEC.
Yeah, that's an easy question.
Exactly.
That one to me is easy.
Well, that don't make them the best conference. That means they got the best team. That means you got the best
Who you
team.
taking? Are you taking
right
the
now
SEC
in
or the field?
the SEC, you got. Well, I'm gonna take the SEC because I'm gonna take Georgia. So they have the best team. That don't make them the best conference. And I'm not even saying that Bet is right. But to say to use that analogy, am I gonna take the SEC or the field when Georgia is the favorite to win it? That ain't saying a lot. So there's Georgia, and then you got what, Texas, and then who else?
Hey, if you got Georgia representing the SEC, you can look at, huh?
It was supposed to be okay.
Who else
Georgia,
in the SEC?
It was supposed you got Georgia, of course. Everybody agreed with Georgia, but they were talking about LSU. They were talking about that's it, I think.
Lost to the ACC. Go ahead.
Florida State.
Georgia
you talking about
lost to an ACC. I mean, LSU lost to an ACC team.
And you talking about true title contenders? I believe you're right, Sean. It's true title contenders. Yeah, it would more than likely be Florida State. There's definitely Georgia. If you go to the Pac-12, probably. One might laugh at me. I think it may be Washington.
Yeah, don't take Washington for granted, but I'm telling you. I'll tell you what, shot.
Washington got squad.
I'll tell you this, shot. You can have Georgia and LSU, and you give me Florida State, Texas, USC, Washington, and Michigan. I'm gonna take my chance with them 5. I just picked for Georgia and LSU.
They said the yours, but he been playing some real good ball. Texas has been playing good ball. I still say until to beat a man, you got to beat the man. Yeah, Georgia is still gonna be that favorite until you see somebody that beat them.
And let me say something real quick, man, about Georgia, and Tony can chime in. I get so tired of people, man, on Facebook, social media, period. They want Mike Bobo gone. They bashing Georgia football. Man, let me tell you something. Mike Bobo is running the same. He's running the same plays as Todd Monken last year. Only thing that's kind of tweaked, you got a lot of injuries going on in Georgia. You done lost Branson Robinson, Ladd McConkey ain't played, A.D. Mitchell gone, Darnell Washington gone. Only difference that he may be doing, he's not running a lot of 2 tight end sets. But Mike Bobo is running the same identical thing as Todd Monken. Georgia football fans out there, relax. Please relax. Carson Beck is not going out there wowing you with 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. But Carson Beck ain't turning the football over either. I think had 1 interception so far this season. He's going out there being efficient and then letting the defense do whatever they're going to do. So people out there bashing Georgia and bashing Bobo. Yeah, South Carolina jumped out there on 14-3, and Georgia is having a tough time getting off to a good start. But make no bones about it. Georgia is still clearly the team to beat in the country, not just SEC, in the country. They turned it on South Carolina in that second half. Now, I'm a little concerned about the slow starts myself, but Carson Beck ain't doing nothing to lose the games. Tony, you got my back on this?
Not really, but I feel you, but not really, because I've never been a Mike Bobo fan, so I am concerned. I hear what you're saying, and I know football, so I know that it's kind of a little early to panic, but at the same time, when you're kind of hesitant about something and you kind of on edge about something, and I'm looking for something to get rid of that, and I haven't seen that yet. Yes, he's running the same offense.
What is Mike Bobo showing you, play call wise, that's making you like? What is he doing? He's running the same stuff.
They run the same offense, man. Because Mike Bobo was on the staff last year. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get that the offense is the same, but just because the offense is the same doesn't mean the person that's calling the plays is the same. You sometimes you can call plays at the wrong time. I know we talking about college football, but hell, the Dallas Cowboys offense is the same, even though they got somebody different calling plays. But I guess you're gonna tell me that it's not a difference. You don't see a difference in how Mike McCarthy calling the game versus how Kellen Moore calling game. It's the same offense, but it's somebody calling play different.
It's not necessarily the same offense. It's a different offense. Mike McCarthy is running the West Coast offense like he ran in Green Bay. So it's not necessarily the same offense. You got some of the same personnel, and you might have some of the same different formations, but he running that West Coast offense to where Dak could be not throwing as many picks. Dak is taking more 3-step drops.
It's the same. It's the same offense, bro. It's just that Mike McCarthy is calling a different game. You know what I'm saying? He's catering his play calling to his defense. And protecting Dak Prescott from making a whole lot of mistakes and putting our defense in bad position. He's playing to their strength. That's what
I'm saying. They switched up the offense. They're running the West Coast offense now.
But it's the same offense, though, bro.
I thought we were talking about college football. I thought we were talking about college football. How we done jump?
We are. But I just use that as an example. So my bad. I digress. But I'm just using that as an example of Mike Bobo. I mean, it's the same offense, but it's somebody different calling play. So I mean, but it is what it is, man. It's still early.
Like
When
Bobo.
people win, dude, when people win, no, same thing. Alabama going through the same thing right now. If you say if you watch and listen to Alabama fans, dude, when you win, man,
I
fans
talk
and
to
stuff like that, they get entitled. They get spoiled, dude. They get accustomed to those things looking a certain way. That's a good thing. That's a good problem to have. I'd rather have that problem than versus the other way around.
I think it's still early. I think it's still early. To be in panic mode right now, to me, is a little shaky, especially when you're undefeated and you're dealing with a coach who know how to make adjustments and get his team going. I'm not really worried about Georgia until they lose.
And let me tell you something else too with Georgia. They just playing a whole lot of people and trying to figure out the right pieces. That's another thing too. So you didn't really have that issue last year. You knew you were gonna see Brock and Darnell and McIntosh and a couple of them other guys. You ain't got that same luxury really this year. They got receivers that then came in from the transfer portal. They just playing a whole lot of people, man. So
Bro,
people out there panicking. We're gonna see what Georgia made of next Saturday in Auburn, Alabama. We're gonna see what they made of.
You lost the NFL roster. That's the thing with college. You got to replace NFL players, and you anticipated that you did when you recruited the 4-5 star players that came in. I mean, coaches. You got one coordinator who looked at running the style of offense you run from his eyes, and then you replace him, and the other one is running the same type of offense, but from his eyes. So it looks different, but it's the same, is what I'm saying. It's just the person that's calling the plays and what he see on the field as opposed to the previous person. That's how I look at that. Everybody put their own little twist on how they coordinate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the same thing with Michigan. Mike McDonald had a heck of a defense. Jesse Minter knew the same style, except Minter don't blitz as much. Well, now he's starting to as much as McDonald did the previous year. So it just depends on how the coordinator look at it from his eyes. That's how I look at it.
Let's get to the chat right quick before we move on to the NFL. Shot old roommate Vet said, "Why you look like you ride around in the '70s movie with the red light special in the city streets?" Shot producer said, "Running backs are hurt. That's why I got a wide receiver running back, and Georgia's schedule soft at the beginning by design so they can build them up for the tail end of the season, i.e. Tennessee. But Tennessee don't look good this year, so it looks like it's gonna be a down year for them also." Let's quickly move on to the NFL Week 2 recap, where we have probably one of the most gruesome injuries on Monday Night Football by Nick Chubb, Georgia alumnus. Kansas City is back. San Diego Chargers look terrible. Mike, what's your recap from Week 2 of the NFL?
First of all, man, Nick Chubb is a former protege of mine from the same hometown I'm from, man. He gonna bounce back. I actually talked to his mama, and Nick is in high spirits, and she said that Nick is thinking about trying to get back by January. And I said, man, Nick is not gonna make it back. No January. He tore all that up. So he gonna work hard and try to get back, man. Yeah, he hurt that leg at Georgia the same way. So, that's the thing with Nick. The big take from me in Week 2 is the quarterback play across the league, man. It's just I don't know how to describe it. I guess we got a lot of young quarterbacks, but there's been a couple of quarterbacks that when I started the season with my quarterback tiers, I think I had some of these guys tier 3, tier 4. Sam Howell has played some good football for the Commanders, and Baker Mayfield has played good for Tampa Bay. Like I've been shocked at them dudes, man. So the quarterback play, I think what's going on, the quarterbacks that we kind of expected weren't going to be so good have been better than we thought, and the quarterbacks that's kind of been, I don't know, flying under the radar and hadn't been what they supposed to be and ain't been looking that good. Tua's look real good. I don't even think Tua been sacked, but Miami looks good. But yeah, just the quarterback play, man, and also just how the running back position look like it's going down and down and down. I mean, it really is. So yeah, them were big takes for me.
Pretty Tony.
I guess. I mean, it's one thing I've noticed, man. You know, I pay attention to these games quite a bit because I put my parlays and my gambling tickets in every weekend. But
Fave suspend him for
scoring is
6 weeks
down.
for gambling.
Scoring is down, which kind of entails, you know, what Atwater is talking about as far as quarterback. Really hadn't really been, you know, exceptional up to this point. I think a lot of that has to do with the changes to preseason and how all that's set up. You know, the guys don't really play in preseason no more, and it's only, you know, they reduced the amount of games, and guys are not really playing in preseason no more. So the first couple of games of the season, guys are really just, you know, getting those reps and, you know, saying getting seasoned. Um, Definitely, some other stuff I noticed. Kansas City, not Kansas City, a little different without being enemy. Definitely looked a lot different without being enemy.
That's what I was gonna talk about.
Washington is definitely you know, looking better now that they have the enemy. They look more sound. I think the top teams, you know, are pretty much who we thought they were up to this point. You know, the 49ers look good, Cowboys look good. No, Philadelphia, they don't really look, no, as good as they did last year, but they still look good. They still doing enough to be dominant. Um, so I mean, it's still early, but no, those are my takes so far.
All right, D Roundel.
Injuries. Injuries have. I know you get them in football. Injuries and the effect of them. These are injuries that's taking players out either for a majority of the year or the year. That, to me, Tony and Atwater took the ones I was looking at. The scoring went down and quarterback play. And with quarterback play, I think the older, more veteran quarterback, I think Father Time is catching up with him quicker than what I expected because his nagging injuries that's taking them down. Joe Burrow retweaked his injury, and it's more so that the young quarterbacks got to get adjusted, and the older quarterbacks, it seems like Father quicker than what I thought. But the injuries really threw me for a loop, especially the bad ones. I know you get some nagging ones, you're gonna be out a couple weeks. So it's a gladiator sport. But I wasn't expecting to see the cats being out 6 to 8 weeks, months, the season. I'm wondering, is it that the board that they're not playing a half in the preseason? I may be looking at this, I may be overthinking it, but it's the injuries is what kind of threw me for a loop. I expected them, but I didn't really think it was going to be the bad injuries. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was going to be that.
All right, Mr. Major.
But I think the biggest surprise to me would be, and I'm gonna give my producer Anatoly some props on this. I think it's about time. It's about damn time people start putting respect on Kirk's name, on Captain Kirk Cousins' name. You know, right now he is the best quarterback in the league. The numbers say if you play fantasy football, he the top quarterback. You know, he spraying the ball over the field, putting up big numbers. So my biggest surprise right now would be the Minnesota Vikings and in particular Kirk Cousins and how well he's playing. And then when you think back, he's been doing that. Now the question is, can he sustain it? That's my biggest surprise.
You do know the Vikings 0-2, right?
Yeah, I do. But Kirk Cousins is playing at a high level. He's playing at a high level. Is he not?
He is, because he's my fantasy quarterback.
He definitely playing at a high level. That he is doing. And really, a lot of it, them being 0-2 ain't particularly Kurt's fault. They got a suspect defense, man.
Suspect.
I mean, the offense is pretty good. They got Hawkinson, tight end. They got some ballers on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's the defense.
Man, it's gonna be a shootout with them this weekend with the Chargers. Boy, that's gonna be a shootout.
Yeah, Minnesota gonna win that game. To get my takeaway right quick, Tony brought it up with Eric Bieniemy. That's my first one. Washington offense looks way more competent than Kansas City's right now. The way the offense is moving, the way they're using the receivers, and Brian Robinson, the junior at running back. Washington looks like they might make the playoff this year. And who does Kansas City have as their offensive coordinator? Matt Nagy, who was just fired from Chicago, who basically ruined Trubisky and Justin Fields. Second quick takeaway, Los Angeles Chargers. Why haven't y'all fired Brandon Staley yet? Why did you fire him after the playoff loss? What are y'all doing?
What are they? They 0-2 too, right? They 0-2?
They're 0-2. You know who would have been the perfect coach for Los Angeles? The running back that used to play for Los Angeles.
You want LaDainian.
Eric Bieniemy.
All right, yeah.
Eric Bieniemy should have been the coach for the Chargers.
We see what he can do on the offensive side. You're right, Faye. I mean, we see how he took Sam Howell and made him serviceable when everybody else thought he wasn't worth the pick. So,
hey, Ratio, do you realize on the Chargers defense, they have 3 perennial Hall of Famers: Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and Derwin James has been a Pro Bowl selection for several years. They got potentially 3, and not to mention, I think Asante Samuels is out there too.
Yeah, Asante Samuel Jr.
Yeah, them dudes got 3 damn near Hall of Famers out there.
Yeah, but they got a coach that don't know his right from his left.
that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if we, don't get me started with the YT people. You know what I'm saying? But that dude ain't got no, like, I'm Justin Herbert need to go do a basketball reference and start making demands. Like that team is littered, like you just said, with Pro Bowl players. The quarterback, the wide receiver, the running back, the DN, the safety. What else you want?
And you named important positions where they're perennial Pro Bowlers and borderline Hall of Famers.
Yeah, well, I ain't say Hall of Famers, but definitely Pro Bowlers.
Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, I think they probably can, a couple more years, they may can stamp themselves as Hall of Famer, dude.
I don't know about Khalil Mack.
If they continue that, it's the NFL. That you can hit that wall in a minute, but definitely, perennial all, not just Pro Bowlers, but all pros. Like was an all pro last year. Joey Bosa has been player of the year. Khalil Mack has been defensive player of the year. I'm sorry, Joe, but I mean like defensive player of the year. Mm-hmm. So they got, there's no reason for them to be 0-2 in the way they've been 0-2.
Hey man, I think it's something that Damon was talking about, and I think we talked about it on this show before. I think not getting them quality reps in practice or them, them preseason game, I think that have a lot to do with this stuff too. But I mean, you can't say that because you got some teams playing well and probably did the same thing.
Right.
So it's
That's why I was a little hesitant to say it because that did just what we talking about, and they're not suffering from injuries or anything like that. So that's just an opinion. It's not a fact.
Especially the Chargers, they put up 30-some points against the Dolphins. They offense ain't hurting because of the preseason.
Right.
All right, let's get to the last question right quick. Let's go around the horn real quick. I know this is my topic, so let me preface this. I did not put this in the rundown. I did not put this question in the rundown. I'm gonna start with Mike. Which coach should be on the hot seat right now?
We need to start possibly looking at Buddy in Buffalo. Buffalo Bills window is starting to kind of shut. So the
Sean
Buffalo
McDermott?
Bills,
McDermott?
yeah, I think.
Not Ken Dorsey?
Where is Ken Dorsey at?
Buffalo's offensive
He the
coordinator.
coordinator. He the OC.
Yeah, you gotta look at McDermott. He the one that's letting Dorsey run the play. They gonna fire McDermott before they fire Dorsey. I'm just saying, I think it's more about not necessarily the coach on the hot seat, but I think Buffalo is one of them teams where their window is slowly closing. Like right now, I feel like it's only maybe 6 or 7 teams in the league that could win a Super Bowl. And Buffalo used to be one. I don't know if they won now.
What you, Damon?
You actually brought mine up, Fabe. I was looking at Ken Dorsey. I know that McDermott would probably get the brunt of it, but I think as far as coaches, it may be Ken Dorsey. And I think Tick brought up a good point. Nobody can really do nothing with Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they can't get the best out of this kid because you get the best out of him. Then it seems like he comes down, throw a stupid pick here, a stupid pick there. You know what I'm saying? I was looking at him, and maybe it's too early for me to say, but I was also looking at Aaron Glenn for us.
Mr. Arnold.
You muted, T.
Appreciate that, D. I mean, to me, it's obvious. Brandon Staley. I mean, it's obvious, man. Was and a lot of people's opinion was supposed to be gone. Should have been gone at the end of last year, especially after they imploded after being up. In the Kansas City game, and get that game away. But they took a chance. They hired OC and got Kellen Moore over there. And I mean, boys 0-2. So things definitely need to start going in the right direction and turning around and moving real quickly, man. I mean, if they lose to Minnesota, what Fabian already said they probably gonna do this week. Boys, they start out 0-3, boys. It's gonna be tough in San Diego.
Yeah.
Mr. Major, you got somebody that should be on the hot seat?
Yeah. That damn Brian Dable, that whatever they got going on in New York, it is a mess. The Giants are a mess. They look like they woke up on Sunday morning. Somebody told them to go play the Cowboys. Like they weren't supposed to play them. That they are a hot mess. Saquon hurt. They probably finna end up playing him either this week or next week before he's ready to come back and messing up his injury. Even though as a running back he about to commit suicide. You know, I just and not to mention the scrutiny that was under Brian Dable even being selected with the whole Belichick, Brian Flores, you know, mistaking the two Brians on text messages. So I just think that, you know, they need a W in the worst way. It's the Chargers and the Giants, East Coast, West Coast.
I'm gonna give you another two more names. Robert Saleh. I know you just lost Aaron Rodgers, but still, you either go after Kirk Cousins or possibly James Winston or Carson Wentz, because Zach Wilson's not the answer. But if you go, you gotta win 9 games this year. You gotta win 9 games. If you don't win 9 games, I think he's losing his job. And I hate to say it, Mike McCarthy's still on the hot seat to me. He's my coach.
Yeah. Mike McCarthy. If the Cowboys don't at least, if he don't at least get to the conference championship game, Mike McCarthy may be gone. And that was a great segue for me. I want to hear from Tony. Don't say nothing yet. I just want to hear what they got to say. Fabe, Damon, and Rachel. Are the Cowboys a real legitimate Super Bowl contender in y'all eye? Y'all three.
We'll see the first Sunday in October when they play the 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Well, I picked the Cowboys.
That's a litmus test.
I picked the Cowboys to win.
As of right now, I would say, yeah, as of right now. But Faye brought up a good point. When they bring that superior defense, the defense on defense, we're going to see who win it. Are they ready? And that's where, Faye, correct me if I'm wrong, that's where you believe Mike McCarthy need to go, because he ain't going to make the right – you don't believe he's going to make the right play calls.
Hold on now. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me cut y'all off. I thought this New York Jets team supposed to have a superior defense. Ain't that what they saying, Tony?
I always said that San Francisco had the superior defense.
They say the Jets. The Jets supposed to have one too.
The San Francisco.
I understand. Remember this though. Once you lose the quarterback, a quarterback that's viable, and you bring in, I ain't gonna say a scrub, you bring in a quarterback that you really know can't do the job. It's easy to beat up on something like that. You got a great they got a decent defense, but when you don't have no offense that's just me. You have no offense to make that defense run, and you got a Cowboy team with a really good defense themselves, and you got a quarterback out there that really can't do nothing. I expected the Cowboys to blow them out anyway. Once they lost Aaron. Hell, them first 4 plays they gave Aaron the flux. So you really can't say that Aaron might have made it decent. I mean, in my opinion. Cowboys, as of now, I would say they probably are a Super Bowl team. They brought up a good point. We're going to see what they do in October when that first real test comes. They beat the Cowboys. You're going to have to go and shout them boys out, man. Remind me of when we was in college. That's what it was years ago. It was the Cowboys and it was the 49ers.
San Francisco's defense can be had with the cornerbacks. They're strong in the front 7. The backside has some questions, which is why the Cowboys have the most complete defense and the most complete team. Having said that, Dak Prescott can't fuck it up.
When you got a front 7 that can get to the quarterback, I mean, I know you're saying the secondary, I get it, Faye, but when the quarterback running for his life, you can have an average secondary if the front 7 is getting to the quarterback. Your secondary can be average.
Let's go back to the Kansas City game last year against San Francisco. Kansas City called them up for 40-plus points.
Yeah, that's because
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and Dr. Prater was the quarterback for San Francisco.
I think it's gonna be hard. I mean, I think I say it's twofold. One, the Cowboys handle business. This is the NFL. Ain't no W easy. They went out there and dominated in the 2 games. But I think, it's hard to judge when you look at how bad the Giants is, and then you played the Jets and they lost Aaron. And then not only that, you know, we can say what we want about Mike McCarthy. He outcoached the Jets coach, showing CeeDee Lamb numbers, and CeeDee Lamb caught what 15 balls,
11 for 148.
11, and only one of them was matched up against Sauce Gardner. He only caught one pass against Sauce Gardner. And so to me, Mike McCarthy did his job. Okay, Sauce Gardner, you that guy. I'm not finna discount that you that guy. So I'm finna move CeeDee Lamb around. That's the Jets' fault they ain't have Sauce Gardner shadowing CeeDee Lamb.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so I don't know why they didn't do that.
I definitely agree with that. He that shutdown corner, he's supposed to. I agree.
He is that now. I mean, watch the game. He's hard to get separation from. He's looking real Darrelle Revis hiss. But see, and I you got to give CeeDee Lamb a spot. I ain't got to get into this one-on-one matchup with you, bro. I'm gonna go get these other 10 catches somewhere else. That's your fault. You won't follow me. So I think they got a real good chance. I mean, obviously the litmus test is, when they see the 49ers, but I think the Cowboys look real good.
I think the Dolphins look good too, man. Miami look really good too. I don't know if it's got something to do with that week 1 shootout with the Chargers, but they won a tough game on the road last week in New England, man. I'm starting to feel the Dolphins a little bit.
Mike McDaniel believes in Tua. That's the difference between him and Flores. Mike McDaniel's empowered Tua. Tony, last word before we go.
But the Cowboys?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they for real. Absolutely. The regular season is not our problem. So, we'll see. It's still early. We'll see how things shake out, come playoff time. God forbid, everybody stay healthy. And we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But I mean, absolutely the Cowboys look real. I'm not gonna say it's their year yet. We'll have to see. They're definitely for real.
I want to thank everybody for watching the Port Valley Boy podcast. You can follow us on Facebook or YouTube. We'll see you next week. We're out.
Y'all boys be good.